Sorry, I'm just.
Okay. Okay. All right. So this one looks like expansion and simplification. Okay. So do you want? Can you solve this? Can you attempt this one?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So what's the basic concept for this guy? You would take that 3x. Well, okay, this is the method that I have in mind, right? You take the 3x, multiply the 2x. That should give you 6x squared. And then take the same 3x and multiply by minus 5. Okay? Then that will give you minus 15x. And then what's the next bit? We're done with the 3x. You now take plus 2 from the first bracket where you had 3x plus 2. Take plus 2 and multiply by 2x, that's 4x. And take plus 2 and multiply by minus. Okay. So sorry, Noah, did you get my explanation?
The beginning.
Okay, let me repeat it again. So I said we'll take from the first bracket, we have 3x plus 2, right? So I'll take 3x and multiply it by the 2x in the second bracket, okay? And then that would give me 6x squared. Then I would also take the same 3x and multiply it by minus 5, okay? And that would give me minus 15. Okay, so this is what I'm going to send you the breakdown of what I'm doing. So the first thing I said was to take 3x multiplied by 2x. That would give me 6x squared. Okay, and then when I take 3x and multiply by minus 5, I'll have minus 15x. Then the next thing I'll do is to take the plus 2 from the first bracket again and do the same thing I did with the 3x. Plus 2 times 2x. That would give me plus 4x. Okay. And then I'll now take that same plus 2 from the first bracket and multiply it by minus 5. That would give me minus 10. Okay. So let's see. I'll show you what it looks like. I would have 6x squared minus 15x plus 4x minus 10. Okay, so I'll now have minus 15x plus 4x. That would give me, okay, so hold on. I'm sending you the step that I've come to. So take a look at the chart and see if that agrees with what you have on your paper.
Yes.
Okay, so take a look at the guys in the middle. They are both like terms. Let's find out what minus 15x plus 4x will give us. Well, what would be minus 15 plus 4? Do you remember that rule that I shared with you when you guys were in Nigeria about when you have a minus sign on one number and a plus sign on the other, what you do? Do you remember?
If it's the bigger number, then then the answer will be negative.
Yes, if the minus sign on the whatever sign is on the bigger number, that will be the sign on the answer. So in this case, the answer will be negative. But what would the answer be?
Minus 11.
Minus 11, yes. It will be minus 11x. So that's going to be, the final answer is going to be 6x squared minus 11x minus 10. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So you've written it down. Can we move on to the next question?
Yes.
Okay. All right. This next question is equally an easy one. Do you have an idea of how to go about it? You're not sure? Okay. So the concept for this second one, for factorizing the second one, is called the difference of two squares. The difference of two squares. Okay. So I'm going to, let me see if I can put it in the chat box. The difference of two squares is very simple. There's a minus sign between two that are squares. In this case, I have x squared, and then I have minus sign, and then I have 16. And 16 clearly is 4 squared. Okay, so I'm going to quote the rule for difference of two squares. It says you have something like x squared minus y squared, that you can factorize it into two brackets. And I'm going to write out the brackets now and then send it in the chat so you can see it. That's going to be, the first bracket we have x minus y, and the second bracket will have x plus y. Interestingly, it looks so simple, and you would wonder, would that really happen if you multiplied what was on the right hand side? But if you do, you definitely get the same answer. Okay, so can you see it there?
Yes.
Good. So all we need to do now is to make sure that we have two squares, and the minus sign is already a difference. It's already showing a difference. So all you just need to do is to make sure that you have two squares. Now, clearly, you can see that x is already squared, but 16 doesn't look like something squared yet until you realize that 16 is 4 times 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now you have an idea of the rule for difference of two squares. What do you think will be our answer for the factorization for this question?
4 bracket x squared minus 4.
Sorry, come again. Let me see. Now remember, the difference of two squares is what's on the right hand side of the equality side. That's what it's supposed to look like. Did you notice that the x squared on the x on the right hand side doesn't have a squared on it anymore? Same thing with the y on the right hand side. They don't have any squares on them anymore. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Okay. So look at what I'm going to do now. Just follow me. The next step is for me to show that x squared minus 16 is equal to x squared minus 4 squared. Okay, do we agree on that?
Yes.
Good. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is to separate them into two brackets. And difference of two squares says I should just take each of them. Okay, so taking each of them means I'll take x and say x minus, remember you had 4 squared, so that 4 will just be treated like y in my difference of two squares rule. Okay, so that's going to be x minus 4, and then in the second bracket I'm going to have what? X plus 4. So it's going to look exactly like that. Did you get the concept now?
Yes.
Okay, so surprisingly, this is the easiest way of going about it. There's no, all you just need to do is to remember that what difference of two squares is, and apply it to your question. That's all. Okay. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? Maybe after our class, I'm going to send you some questions to attempt for difference of two squares, so you could get some more practice on it. You could just send me the answers via WhatsApp. Would that be good?
Okay.
All right. Okay. So did you understand the steps I took to arrive at the answer for this one?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I think we can proceed to the next question. Okay, this one says work out an estimate for this guy. Okay. Estimate. Okay, so if you were to estimate this guy, what would you do? I think you would do some rounding up, right?
Yes.
All right. So what would you round 5.7 to?
6.
6, okay. And 8.2 would be 8, right?
Yes.
So that would be 6 times 8 divided by what would be round 0.262?
30. 0.30.
0.30, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, so if I have 6 times 8 divided by 0.3. Okay. All right, that looks let me see what it's going to give us. 6 times 8, right? Divided by 0.3. Okay, so 6.6 times 8 is going to give us 48, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think we remember this question. This particular paper doesn't allow calculators, so it means we have to be on point with our times table. Okay, so 6 times 8 is 48. Now the 0.3 underneath, let's see, what do we do with it? You remember the rules for dividing by a decimal number, right? Where you have decimal number either in the numerator or denominator. Do you remember?
You should times it by 100.
Yes, you look for you first look for a way to make them whole numbers, right? So the guy under is the one that needs to, seems to need some help. So what will we do to 0.3 to make it like a whole number? The decimal point we have to move to the right hand side. How many times?
Twice.
Sorry, I didn't get that. How many times did you say?
Twice.
Once. You know why it's once? Because it's just going over the 3. The 0.30, the 0 after the 3 is as good as not significant. Okay? So if we move it once, we are good. So what it just means is that your 48 divided by 0.3 will now become 480 divided by 3. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how did the 48 become 480, right?
Because you times both by 10.
I times it by what?
By 10.
Exactly. The same 10 that made the 0.3 to become 3 will make your 48 to become 480. Remember, whatever you do to the numerator, you must do to the denominator. And in this case, whatever you do to the denominator, you must also do it to the numerator. So that's just what happened. And of course, you can see that we have something easy to work with. 3 will go into itself one time, that's the denominator, and 3 will go into 48. 3, sorry, okay, let's take it bit by bit. 3 will go into 4 one time, remainder 1. Into 18, it will go into 18 6 times. Okay, so that's 160. So the answer to our what do you call it? To our question is 160. Okay, you can just say 160 over 1, but it's as good as 160. So, okay. So I sent it in the chat. You can check if what you have is what you have there. Have you? Are you good? Or do you want to check it? The chat, what I sent in the chat box.
Yes, I wrote it.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, no problem. We can move on then. Okay. This one says a piece of glass has a mass of 27 grams and a volume of 10 cubic centimeters. Work out the density of the piece of glass. I think the formula for density is mass per unit volume. Okay, so mass per unit. So that's as easy as 27 divided by 10. Okay, so without writing anything down, off the top of your head, what's 27 divided by 10?
Divided by 10?
Yes. Uh-oh. You didn't need to take that long. Okay, so let's remind ourselves of some basic things. Now, do you remember what we did back there when we said 48 times 10 in the previous question, the question that we just left?
Yes.
When you multiply a number by 10, do you remember what we said? The decimal point moves one place to the right-hand side. Whenever you multiply by multiples of 10, decimal point will move to the right-hand side, okay? But whenever you divide, remember division is the opposite of multiplication, right?
Yes.
Good. If we agree on that, then if you divide, that means whatever happens whenever you multiply by 10, the opposite should also happen when you divide by 10. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So what that means is that the decimal point will move one place to the left. Okay, so now remember, 27 is a whole number, isn't it?
Yes.
That means its decimal point is behind it. It's not seen. But 27 is as good as 27.0. So if that decimal point moves one place to the left, 27 will become 2.7 when you divide 27 by 10. Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. So did you not see why I said you can do it without writing anything down?
Yes, yes.
Right. So you want to take note of what I just said, just to remind you. I know we mentioned it once when you were still in Nigeria, but I guess it's needed. It could bear some repetition.
So if you divide them by 10, then you're just moving decimal point.
Yes. So okay, maybe what you should do is just write this down. So now let me give you a clue of why I had to say 27 divided by 10. Can you see the unit for your answer, the expected unit for your answer?
Centimeters.
No, grams / cubic centimeters. Can you see where you are expected to down the answer? Grams / cubic centimeters. Did you notice it? Now, what that means is that the grams is divided by cubic centimeters. So that slash there is just like division. Okay, did you get that now?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how you are sure. But on the other side, just remember that the formula for density is mass divided by volume. Okay, so let me see. I think I should just state the rule. So whenever you multiply, instead of us to say whenever, multiplying a number by powers of 10 will move the decimal point to the right hand side. Dividing a number by 10, by powers of 10, which includes 10. By powers of 10. And I think we need to be specific about how many times it will move. Okay, dividing a number by powers of 10 will, what's this? Sorry, I'm having a glitchy keyboard here. Oops. Sorry, 1 minute, please. Okay, so that, I did not mean to send that. No. What? The keyboard. Okay, but did you get the concept? I don't know what's up with my keyboard. I'm trying to type, but it's not letting me type.
I made it. If anybody died from now on, come on. Who died? Who died? Who's white? Oh, hey, you mother. One by one.
Sorry, 1 minute, please. Multiplying by 10 powers of 10. Or 0 or the power. Dividing by powers of 10 moves the decimal point to the left according to the number of zeros. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I was trying to just form a rule. I don't know if it's something you remember, but yeah. So that's why 27 divided by 10, decimal points would move one place to the left to give us 2.7. Okay, so we're moving on. So what's this question about? It looks like an algebra thing. Manu has what? 3 shelves of books. Okay. There are X books on shelf A, and there are 3X plus 1 books on shelf B. And there are 2X minus 5 books on shelf C. So what does it say? There's a total of 44 books on the 3 shelves. All right, so what do you think about this question?
I don't really know.
Okay, so this is what I see here. We're looking at the number of books, right, on each shelf. On shelf A, you have X. On shelf B, you have 3X plus 1. On shelf C, you have 2X minus 5. And meanwhile, you are told that you have a total of what? 44. So what that means is that if I add up all that I have there in terms of X, okay, I'm going to say all that is equal to 44. And in that way, that will help me to find what X is. Okay. And yeah. And solve the rest of the question. Now, did you notice that they didn't ask us for what the value of X is?
No.
No, they didn't. But guess what? If you don't know the value of X, there's no way you can find out the total mass of the books on shelf A. There's no way you can do that, because you would need to use that value of X and find out how many books there are on shelf B, So this is what we're going to do. In fact, let me even see if we can avoid finding what X is, and somehow, okay, no. It looks highly improbable that we can find that. So you know what we're going to do? Let's hit the road. Let's find X. So we're going to have X plus, we're going to have X plus 3X plus 1 plus, the next one is, sorry, what's the last one? X plus 3X plus 1. And finally, my keyboard is blocking the screen. What's the last one? The number of books on shelf C.
2x minus 5.
2x minus 5. Okay. All right. And we're going to say that all that is equal to 44. So let's collect like terms. X plus 3x is 4x. 4x plus 2x is 6x. So, playing around with the remaining numbers, collect the other like terms. We only have 1 minus 5. And 1 minus 5 is minus what? Minus 4, right?
Yes. Sorry.
Are you following me with my calculation?
Yes.
Okay, so right now, the step I am at says that 6x minus 4 is equal to 44. So the next step is to move minus 4 to the right-hand side, and that's going to give me 6x equals 44 plus 4, which would give me 48. Okay, so what do you think X is going to be?
8.
What do you think X would be? Right now I have 6X.
X.
So X would be
It will be 8.
no. If you divide both sides by 6, what would you have? Remember, 6x equals 48. So divide both sides by 6. What will you have? 48 divided by 6.
Is it 8?
8, yes, correct. Yes. Okay, so again, your multiplication table will help right now. Okay. So now we know what X is. So let's see if X can help us to find out what's the weight of the books on, what's the relationship between that and the books on on shelf B. So remember, shelf B, the question says that shelf B has 3x plus 1, right? Okay, your battery is low. I think you want to charge it.
Yes, sir. Let me go get the charger. Sorry.
Okay, all right, I'll wait.
One at a time. One at a time. One at a time. Then anyway, just skip me doesn't run fast.
Okay, is it plugged in now?
Yes.
Excellent. I think I heard the sound go off. Okay, so now if you look at the question, the question says all the books have the same mass. So we're going to make some assumptions which are safe for us to make based on what the question said. If all the books have the same mass, and they told us that the books on shelf B have a total mass of 7,500, guess what? If we find how many books are on shelf B, we can find out the mass of one book, okay? And once we know the mass of one book, automatically we know the total, we'll be able to find out the total mass of books on shelf A, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is to establish the mass of one of the books, which we have some information about it on mass on shelf B. Now, shelf B has 3x plus 1 books on it. Notice that we found out that x is 8. So 3x plus 1 will give me what? 3 times what? 3 times 8 plus 1. Right?
Yes.
That's what? What would that give us?
25.
25, yes. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So I have 25 books on shelf B. Meanwhile, we were told that each of those books have the same mass, and the total mass for the books on shelf B is 7,500. So to find the mass of one book, I'm going to divide 7,500 by 25. Okay, now, again, remember we're not using a calculator, so please let's see how we can do this without a calculator. 7,500 divided by 25. Now, if you remember that method of breaking down, we can break things down. 25 is in our denominator and 7,500 is in the numerator. So I'm going to say this. 5 in 25, that's the denominator, will give me 5 down there. 5 in 75, 5 in 75 will give me 15. Okay, don't forget the 2 zeros that come after 7,500. So that means it's going to give me 1,500 divided by 5. There's still 5 in the denominator. Again, we'll divide using 5. So 5 in the denominator will give me 1. 5 in 5, 1. And then 5 in 1,500 will give me 300, right?
Yes.
So I have 300 over 1, which is as good as what? 300. So what does that tell me? It tells me that the mass of one book is 300 grams. So what does that automatically mean? Remember, how many books are on shelf A? X books, right? And now we know that what's the value of X? 8 books. So that means if one book is 300 grams, according to our calculation, then 8 books will be what? Eight times 300, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Right? So that's going to be 2,400 grams. Okay. So yes. So take a look at the chat box. I've showed my workings there. So just compare it with what you have and see if it collaborates with what you have. Then you can take notes where you need. So that's the last 3 charts. The last 3 charts, not just the last one, the last 3 charts. The first one that says x plus 3x plus 1 plus 2x minus 5 equals 44. That's where I started. Please ignore the picture. It was a like that was when my keyboard was glitchy, so it was not meant to be sent. Okay, so did you get the process?
Yes.
Okay, so we can move on then. All right. 21 says the mean length of 5 sticks is 4.2 centimeters. Now, measured the length of one of the sticks as 7 centimeters. Work out the mean length of the other 4 sticks. Okay. So this is one of those questions on average that could be tricky, but if you know your way around it, it won't be so tricky. The first thing you need to do is to understand that for 5 sticks, right? For 5 sticks, you have the average. That's what they gave you. The average is 4.2. Okay. So the concept is this: you don't know the length of all the sticks. In fact, you don't need to be able to solve this question. However, they told you the length of one of the sticks. So this is what we're going to do. So let's remind ourselves of the formula for average. You remember the formula for average? How do you get the average of things?
Oh, no, I didn't know.
The total sum of those things divided by their number. So in this case, you would have had to find the total, the sum, right, the sum of the length of those sticks. So remember, there are 5 sticks, right? So
yeah,
we will add the length of 5 of them. After adding the length of 5 of them, we'll divide it by what? 5, right? Do you agree with that?
yes, yes.
Question. In this question, let's understand. So you can equally say that if we add the length, the total length of 4 of them plus the length of, okay, the length of 4 of them plus the length of the 5th one and divide it by 5, we would get the mean length for 5 of them, right? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Now this is where I'm going. Because they didn't give us the length of the other 4 sticks, I had to rearrange my definition of average. So this is what it is going to be. Let's assume that the length, the total length of the other 4 sticks is X. Let's just pretend it's X. Or maybe we should use another letter. Let's not overuse X. Let's say it's T. All right. So that's for the 4 sticks. So if you want to show the working, you could just say, let T be the total length for 4 sticks. The total length, okay? So this is what we can conclude, that T plus, what's the length? Okay, this one is 7, right? T plus 7 divided by 5 equals 4.2. Agree with that?
Yes.
Good. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to find what T is. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to make T the subject of the formula. Remember, when you have arrangements like, okay, when you have an arrangement, your aim is to look for how to, okay. So the first things first, you're going to take out the 5 in the denominator by multiplying both sides by 5. So if I you want to, don't worry, I'm just saying the first step in the chat box, but let me finish it. So the first step is to multiply both sides by 5. Or let's see. Can you annotate on the screen? I'm thinking of the best way to, but then don't make it too okay, you can. Okay, but don't worry, let me see. It would have really been nice if I could go on this screen. Okay. Okay, can you annotate on the screen? Let me see if I can use your annotation. Yeah, but you will not, that's T plus 7, small letter T plus 7. Could you make it look different? So that, okay, you could make the T curve at the bottom so that it looks different from the plus sign. Yeah, exactly. So t plus 7 over, so you can put your division sign across everything. Yes, over 5. So you can put 5 in the denominator over there. Yes. No, not pi, 5. Like figure 5, the number 5. Yes. So you can now say equals 4.2.
What's 4.2?
Yes, 4.2. The 4.2, no, equals to. You can put the equals to beside the, just after the division sign. Yes. So 4.2 on the right hand side. 4.2. The average, 4.2. Yes. Exactly. Okay. So do you see, can you see why it's like this? Do you understand why it's like this?
Yes.
Okay, remember T again is the sum of the length for 4 sticks. Okay, we only said T plus 7 because they told us the length of the 5th one. So the length of 4 sticks plus the 5th one divided by 5 will give us the mean length for the 5 sticks. So that's 4.2. So our job right now is to find T. So the first thing we need to do is to take care of that 5 in the denominator. And since 5 is down there, the best way to take care of it is to multiply both sides by 5. So the left-hand side, if I multiply the left-hand side by 5, 5 will cancel itself, right? Yes, we're going to multiply both sides by 5, correct? So what will I have on the left-hand side? I'll just have T plus 7 because 5 would have cancelled itself. So you can write that as the next step. T plus 7. Yes. Yes. And then you can now say equals 4.2 times 5, which 4.2 times 5 is 5 times 2. Okay, yes, 21. Yes, correct. Okay. All right. So you are looking for T. So that means you will take plus 7 to the other side. And that's going to give you 21 minus 7, which is that T is equal to what? 14, right? Okay, good. Now you know what T is. Look at the question. The question says, work out the mean length of the other 4 sticks. Guess what the mean length for the 4 sticks would be? Remember, T is the total for the 4 sticks, the total length for the 4 sticks. And the mean length for the 4 sticks will be the total length for the 4 sticks divided by what?
4.
Exactly, divided by 4. So that means the mean length for the 4 sticks will simply be 14 divided by 4.
We have to jump. You can't go on the ground. Okay, good.
So, yes, exactly. So 14 divided by 4 is, yes, 7 over 5, like that. And 2 into 7 is 3.5, right?
Yes, I missed it.
How do you get 3.5?
Okay, so 2 in 7 goes, 2 will go into itself once, 2 will go into 7 3 times, remainder 1, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yes, so that 3 whole number, 1 over 2, which is the final answer, would you know, I think most likely they will want you to write it as a decimal. So 3.5, a half is 0.5. So 3.5 is as good as 3.5. Okay. Okay. So you understand the process, the thinking process behind it, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think I like this way when you have to annotate. Sometimes annotating is good, but I'm not too sure. Can you save it? If you try saving it now, will it let you save?
This one saves, I think.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. That's good. Okay, that's fine. Let's move on then.
Yay!
Sorry, hold on. There's a question on that. That's not the only question for that one. What I didn't no, I just noticed it when you were scrolling up that there's another question underneath. The one where there's no one made a mistake. Did you see that question?
Pardon?
There's another question underneath that we just did. Yes. It says, now I made a mistake. The stick was not 7 centimeters long. It was 17 centimeters long. How does this affect your answer to part A? Of course, it's going to affect our answer a lot. 17 centimeters in place of 7. Wow. Okay. How is it going to affect it? We'll simply, can you scroll up a bit? Let's see the places where it will affect it. We introduced 7 into the equation right from the first step. But the only place 17, remember, 7 is what we use. But they said now I made a mistake, so it's 17. If we use 17 in place of 7, what's going to happen? T will no longer be 21 minus 7, but T will be 21 minus 17. And 21 minus 17 is what? 4, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So that means T is 4 instead of 14. So that means it's going to be 4 divided by 4, which would make our answer 1 and not 3.5. So it even makes it easier. So that's how you would say it affects your answer to part A. Okay, you want to write that down?
Yes.
All right, go ahead. If you want to annotate, it's still okay. Or if you want to write down, it's fine. I guess you would still make reference to this paper when you are doing your final revision. Okay. All right. So we are on to the next question. It says, find the highest common factor of 156 and 130. Okay. So can you do this? You can find the HCF, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see you give it a shot. Let's see how you go about it. But you can annotate on the screen so that I can see your process. Yeah. Okay. 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 78 and 2. 78. 39 and 2. Okay. 13 and 3. Okay. Yes, that's good. 13 and 3. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so let's, yeah, 13 and 3. Okay, so let's see it for, oh, and 130 is, did you see something? 130 is as good as 13 times 10. In fact, that's how I would have done it. I may not even need to break it down beyond that. 13 times 10, and 13 times 10 is yeah, in fact, we're looking for the highest common factor. So if you're looking for the highest common factor, I mean, 13 looks like the biggest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. I like this method. I love it. Love it to bits. Okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. So you took out 10 and 2. Okay, excellent. Yes, because 2 is also in 10 times 5 times 2. You're right. Yes, I agree with this. So that's 13 times 2, which is 26. Perfect. I like this method. Okay, so let's move on. Um ah it looks like 20A is, I mean, sets you up for success in 20B. So you've already done it. Prime factors, 13 times 3 times what will give you 156. So you can go back and look at your or do you want to repeat it there? Maybe you can do it. I mean, it's clear there. 13 times 3 times 2 raised to power 2, right? Okay. All right. So we're moving on. These ones are like giveaways. So what's the value of 5 raised to power 0?
0.
Oh, 1. Number raised to power 0 is 1. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, don't forget that. Simple rule, but it might if you're not careful, you might forget it. So any number raised to power 0 is 1, including this one, 5 raised to power 0. The next one says write down the value of 5 raised to power minus 2. Okay, so this is how I usually remember these things. Whenever you see a minus, a negative, that's a negative power, always remember it is 1 divided by that power. So what that means is that 5 raised to power minus 2 is as good as 1 divided by 5 raised to power 2. And we know that 5 raised to power 2 is 25, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's safe for you to say that 5 raised to power minus 2 is simply 1 divided by 25. Now, there are two things. You can leave your answer like that, or you may want to, I don't know if you want to start breaking it down to take it down to 0 point, blah, 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 whatever. So, which one do you prefer?
1/25.
1/25, good. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The next one says 2 raised to power 5 times 2 raised to power 4 divided by 2 raised to power 3. It says write it down in the form 2 raised to power n, where n is an integer. Do you remember the rules of indices? Do you remember those rules? Indices.
No.
Do you?
No.
Okay, all right. Tell me the ones that you know. The first one that comes to mind, what's the first rule of indices that you remember?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so the first rule for indices, right? The first one, the very first, says that whenever you have an arrangement like this, where you have the same base, what I mean by the same base, the number, in this case, the number 2 is called the base, and the power that 2 is raised to, for instance, 5, and then in the next number beside 2 raised to power 5 is the base again, 2 raised to power 4. Okay, so 2 raised to power 5 times 2 raised to power 4. Whenever you have the same basis, in this case, the common basis here is 2. Okay, that's the common base rather. Then you are free to add the powers and keep one of the bases. So what that means is that 2 raised to power 5 times 2 raised to power 4 is equal to 2 raised to power 9. Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to annotate so that you remember 2 raised to power 5 times 2 raised to power 4? That's the new. I'm just doing the numerator for now. We'll come to the denominator. So 2 raised to power 5 times 2 raised to power 4 is equal to 2 raised to power 9. Okay, can you just write that? Of course, maybe in a bracket somewhere you can write that x raised to the power of a times x raised to the power of b is equal to x raised to the power of a plus b. Yes, perfect. Okay, thank you very much. So what's of course, excellent. Okay, so it looks like when I reminded you of the multiplication, you remember the division on, right?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. I like that. Okay, so we've gotten the answer. N is 6. 2 raised to power 6. Okay, let's move on. I think we can go to the next one now. Okay, so for this one, let's see. Let's see if you remember how to handle this one. Can you take care of that first one? The one that says work out 3/5 divided by 1/6. Can you work it out?
Okay.
Yeah. But remember to annotate so I can see your process. Okay, so yes, I like what you did back here, but there's a small problem. That division sign should change to multiplication. Okay. Yes, yes, I like that. Yes, yes. So change it from division to multiplication. That's when you now have the right to, flip it. Yes. Okay, yes, perfect. Okay. All right, so you have, yes, so that's it for that. Good, let's see this one. I'm sure you can do this one. Yep. Okay. Okay. Don't forget, yes, thank you, you remembered. Perfect. Okay, good. Uh-huh. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. 11. Perfect. Okay, that's nice. Yes. Excellent. 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 I love this. I love this. Good, 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 good. All shades of good. Okay. I think we can go on. Is there a question under that? I think that's all. Okay. Wow. Brilliant. And I like your speed. Cool. I like it. Good, good, good. Okay. All right. So let's see what this one is all about. SHA takes an exam. The exam is out of 60 marks. Okay. So the total is 60, in other words. SHA needs to score at least 70% of the marks to pass the exam. He scores 45 marks. Show that SHA passes the exam. All right, so tell me, what are you going to do if you see a question like this? What are you going to do? What did you say?
70% of 60.
Okay, well, that's one way to go about it. 70% of 60, that's the first thing. So 70% of 60 will give you what? That's 70 over 100 times 60, isn't it? So you want to do that method I showed you, where you cancel out the zeros and then you see what you have left. Oh. Are you sure this would go nicely? 70%. Oh, okay, you did 0.7 times 60. Was that what you did?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so so that's 42. Okay, so SHA scores 45. So definitely SHA passes the exam, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so we move on. Let's move on. That's enough proof. Okay, Mr. Steve. Steve is buying a car. Car costs £12,000. Okay. I wish cars would still be costing like this, but maybe not pounds, but naira. That would be a long time to come. I don't know if it will ever happen. Okay, so Steve pays what again? Pays 25% of the cost as a deposit. All right. So I think the first thing we need to do is to find out what 25% of the cost is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how are you going to go about that? 0.25 times 12. You want to do that and see what it comes up to. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? 0.25. You see the 0.25 thing, right? If you take out 2 zeros from from 12,000, right? Those 2 zeros would be like multiplying by 100 for 0.25 to become 25. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
So that means what you just wrote down will be as good as 120 times 25. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So just a bit of analysis. Okay, so now you have 120 times 25, which is as good as 12 times 25, and you just put a 0 behind it. Yes, so you got 6. Okay, that's fine. Okay, just go ahead how you're going. 5 times 12 is 60. Okay, so don't get things mixed up. Oh, I think you are having, I hope you're not mixing anything up. So which one are you doing? Are you doing 12 times 25 or you are doing 120 times 25?
120 times 25.
Okay, so this is what we want to do, right? So that we don't get things mixed up. 120 times 25 again is just as good as saying 12 times 25, and whatever is the answer, we put a 0 behind it. So if we do that, then that means your calculation would be slightly altered, so that we would have 5 times 12 is 60, and then 2 times 12 is 24. So it's not going to be 84 per se. It's going to be 260. Okay, because the 24 will shift. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Oh, yes.
Yes, exactly. So let's not mix things up. So yes, we understand it's 120 times 25, but in the real sense, things will move a bit. Yes. Okay, was that okay? Yes, now that's correct. That's correct. It's 300. Okay. Okay. So don't forget to put the 0 behind it, because it was actually 120, right? So it's actually 3,000, not 300. So don't forget the 0. 0 for 120. Yes, correct. So now the good thing is that our calculator would have done all this for us, but yeah, it's good for us to do it once in a while, I guess. So that is 25% of the cost as deposit. What does it say? The question goes on to say, he pays the rest of the cost in 20 equal monthly payments. 20 equal monthly payments. I think we've done a question like this. So what are we going to do? We're going to subtract 3,000 from 12,000, isn't it?
Yes.
And that will give us 9,000. So we're going to say 9,000 divided by 20. Am I right?
Yes.
So let's see how it's going to play out. Perfect calculation. I'm sure it's going to give us something. 9,000 divided by 20. Of course, you can already see one of the zeros in the 9,000 going home. Yes, you can just do your cancellation. And 2 in 9 is a friendly 4. Remainder 1. Yeah. So you can write your 4. You remember how we do it, right? 2 in 9, 4. Remainder 1. You put that 1 in front of the 0. Good. So that's going to give us 5 there. 2 in 10, 5. And there's no remainder, isn't it? So our final answer is going to be 450 because of that other 0 that's behind. because 2 in 0 is 0. Okay, so that's going to be 450, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're good to go. Each monthly payment is £450. Yep. So we can move on to the next question. Okay. Okay, can you handle this one yourself? You can plot the graph, right? It's quite straightforward. All you need to do is to substitute for x in the equation and you get all the values for y. Your table of values go from -2 to 2. So according to this graph, I think you can have -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're good to go. It's easy. I think we can skip this one. I don't want us to pay too much attention to the ones that you can quickly do. In fact, from my own experience, I find that questions on graph, sketching a graph, you have higher probability of getting all the answers because you do all the things right. Get your tables, get the points and stuff like that. Join them. It's so easy. You can get all your points there. So we're usually advised to answer those ones. Okay, Chloe is making scrunchies. It says Chloe has a large number of hair bands. Okay, each hairband costs 8 pence. She buys 100 grams of wool for £3. Okay, that's 300 pence. Chloe uses one hairband and 5 grams of wool to make each scrunchie. She makes as many scrunchies as she can. Question is, work out the total cost of each scrunchie that she makes. Give your answer in pence. Okay. So, how are we gonna go about this? Okay, so let me see. Sometimes word problems get a bit wordy, too wordy. So you need to read them again. Okay, so she's making scrunchies. She has a large number of hairbands. Each hairband costs 8 pence. Okay, established. One band costs 8 pence. She buys 100 grams of wool for 300 pence. That's what I'm seeing there instead of £3. Okay. Uh, what else? She uses one hairband and 5 grams of wool. Okay, so I can pick things out from there. One hairband. Remember, each hairband costs 8 pence. Remember that. Okay, that's she buys 100 grams of wool to make each scrunchie. 100 grams of wool. Now, how many 5 grams are in 100 grams? Can you help me get that? Do that math. How many 5 grams are in 100 grams? What do you think we're going to do to get that? Hello, Noah, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so how many? Yeah, okay, 100.
Would I then do 8 plus 15?
8 plus 15.
The 8p plus 15p.
Did you say 8 plus 15?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to follow your process. I'm not too sure I can follow it, but let me see if so what I was thinking was you would follow through with my own process, but I guess you have a different process. Let me just see if it agrees with mine. So what I was thinking was you would get how many bands of wool she would use, right? That would be 20. She'll be able to get exactly 25 grams from 100. So if she could get 20 from 100, then and then each hairband costs 8 pence. So 20, she would also need 20 hairbands to be able to work out 20 parts of wool. Okay, so that's 20 times 8, that's 160. 160 plus 300 would give me okay, I see where you're going. So they asked for each scrunchie. All right, I see it. Okay, 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 I see it. So 300 divided by 20. Yeah, yeah, I see it. That's gonna give me 15. Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Okay, we're on the same page. I agree with you. Your process is correct. So I guess this looks like you did a proportion thing, but anyways, I'm fine with it. If you were able to arrive at the same answer with me, I'm good. Okay, so we can move on, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this question is substitution. This one is easy, right?
Yes.
You can even do this without writing that. So yeah, it's substitution. It's quite straightforward. With your multiplication table in place, it should be easy. Okay, this one looks like it says on the grid, draw an enlargement of the triangle with a scale factor of 3. Okay, so I know this is a sketching thing, but if you were to draw a bigger triangle, right, with a scale factor of 3, what would you do?
Times the bottom squares by 3 and the top
Okay.
by 3.
Okay. Okay, so how would it look? Can you just give me a sketch? Are you sure you want to use your ruler to do that?
I shouldn't
Okay.
use a ruler.
Okay, the ruler can do it. I think I would have gone with the squares if you ask me, because I mean 2 squares, if I multiply 2 by 3, that will give me 6. Okay, so okay, you are good to go, just continue. Okay, so I think the height is 3 squares, right?
Yes.
So do you want to, I think to be on the safe side, you should work with the height. So the height would be 9 squares. You don't want to do the height first. Okay, you've done it. I can see you've done it. I didn't see that mark up there. Okay, I see it. Okay, perfect.
It's raining.
Okay, this is beautiful. I like this. All right, perfect job. As clean can be. Okay, so I think we're good to go. We can move on. All right. Okay, it says, here are the ingredients needed to make 20 peanut butter cookies. Make 20 cookies. 250 grams of that and all that stuff. It says Derek wants to make 60 cookies. So that's 3 times of whatever he will need, right? Let's just assume that. It says he has 900 grams of peanut butter. But he will not need the whole 900 grams because he will only need 3 times 250. It says, does Derek have enough peanut butter to make 60 cookies? I would say yes, he has more than enough. It says you must show how you get your answer. Okay, so what would you do in this case? I think the reason is pretty simple, right?
Yes. Time multiply everything by 30.
No, are you there?
Yes, I said multiply everything by 30.
By not by 3, not by 30. By 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you multiply 250 by 3, what would you get? That's 750, I think. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 2, 6 plus 1, 7. Yes, 750. Okay. So, I mean, 900 is clearly bigger than 750. So I guess Derek has more than enough. I think that's all we need to show, right?
Yes.
So yes, it does. It does. That's a good one. Okay. So we can move on now. Okay. Selena has a bag of 20 counters. 5 of the counters are blue, 9 of the counters are red, 8 of the counters are pink. Selena selects at random a counter from the bag. Write down the probability that Selena selects or takes a red counter. So Do you remember that short class that we had about probability of picking things from a bag? Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to show me you remember? So what's the probability of picking a red counter out of the bag of 22 counters?
9/22.
Do you remember the formula for probability? I think you wrote it down back. What did you hear? What did you say? Sorry.
9/22.
Correct. 9/22. The number of required events over the number of possible events. Correct. So 9/22. So that's the answer for the first one. The second one, it says, write down the probability that Selena does not, did you notice the not? Emphasis on the not. Does not take a peak counter. And remember, total probability in any instance is always 1. So for us to find out what's the probability of not taking a pink counter, guess what? We need to find out what's the probability of taking a pink counter. Okay? Of course, the questions like this, there's more than one way to work it, but I'm just going to go for the simple one. Probability of picking a pink counter is going to be 8/22. But that's not what we need. We need the probability of not picking a pink counter. So the probability of not picking a pink counter is simply going to be 1 minus the probability of picking a pink counter. So that's going to be 1 minus 8/22. So can you quickly tell me how I'm going to resolve that without writing it down? 1 minus 8/22. Do you remember the trick?
No.
The trick is to look at the denominator. The denominator is 22, right? And you have 1. So 1 will always be any number over itself. So in other words, you have 22 divided by 22 minus 8/22. So what's that going to amount to? 22 minus what? 8 divided by 22. So what's that going to give you? So don't worry, I was only joking. You can still write down. You can write down if you want to write down, just so that you can remember your thought process. So, yeah. (22/22) minus 8/22. Good, 14. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one says, write down the probability that Selena takes a white counter. Now, if you look at that whole setup, I'm sure you can see there's none that is white, right?
Yes.
So the answer is 0, clearly. No, there's no of that happening. Okay, so we can move on.
They think I'm jealous, like bro. Wait. That's what he was saying. I'm jealous.
Okay. This one has to do with a skill. I think you can attempt that one yourself, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
there are 3 liters of oil in a can. Jermaine uses 700 milliliters of the oil. Work out the amount of oil left in the can. Give your answer in milliliters. So the secret to this is to simply convert milliliters to what? Simply convert liters to milliliters. Do you remember the unit conversion? For milli, right? Milli is, I think it's 1,000. So 1,000, yeah, good. Okay, yes, 3,000 milliliters ml. Okay, so if you take out 700 from 3,000, what will be left? 3,000 minus 700. Thirty minus 7 is yeah, 2,300. Okay, that's good. Okay, ml. All right, we can move on then. Okay, this one is pretty easy, right? 1 over 5 of 300. That's 300 divided by 5. Yeah, that's 60. Yes, correct. Okay, we're moving on. Measure the size of the angle marked X. I think you will need a protractor for this. So I hope you have a math set now, right?
Yes.
All right, so we can move on. Or do you want to check it now?
Yeah, I was just checking it. Yes,
Okay. Okay. Okay, it's 40. Okay. 40 degrees, right? Okay, yes, that's the unit. Okay, let's move on. Okay. This one is pretty simple. 3 times 8 times 4 is what? 12A. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a pretty simple. Wow. So, wow, that's good. When you finish the math, that's cool. Here is a list of numbers. Work out the range of these numbers. The range of a set of numbers is simply the largest minus the smallest, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be 8 minus 2, which is 6. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, 89. Yeah, correct. Wow. Okay. So I think it looks like we have some, some real speed when it comes to maths. Anyway, I know we skipped some because I felt there were things that you could do yourself. Okay, but this is good. All right. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I think it's safe for us to stop here. So let me see if we can do something. Would you like us to do math in the next class?
Sure.
Okay, but I'm not too sure we've done physics in any of our classes, have we?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, but have you done physics on your own? If you've done it on your own and you find it quite easy to do on your own, maybe we can just focus on on something else. If you feel we have you been able to do physics on your own at any point?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, whichever one you come up with. But that will be Tuesday, right?
Yes.
I wish we could do Monday, but yeah, let's just do Tuesday. So you have a day in between. Okay. All right. So I think you don't have any questions, right?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. So we'll see on Tuesday. I hope you'll be back home before 6, so we could do our class by 6.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, then enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.